Ganondorf is a great villain, and what makes him a great villain isn't a tragic backstory. He wasn't bullied as a child and now seeks revenge. He's not misunderstood or a marginalized outcast. He was born to be king. He was born to rule. And there isn't a man or god alive that's going to tell him any different. Ganondorf is the epitome of narcissism, and today I'd like to take a more clinical approach with respect to the G-Man. What traits would a psychologist look for if they were going to give him an official diagnosis? After rigorous years of study and a quick trip to SameDayDiplomas.com, I became Gamesmith, in-game, but not real-life, psychologist. Also, there will be significant spoilers in this video, so you've been warned. I'm sure most of you have an idea of what narcissism is, and most likely know several people who could also fall into this category. The general condition is usually presented as an inflated sense of self-importance, a constant need for admiration, and a lack of empathy towards others. If we examine his behavior in Tears of the Kingdom, we can uncover the psychological dynamics that contribute to his classification as a narcissistic personality. But to fully comprehend Ganondorf's background, we need to understand the historical context of his origins as a member of the Gerudo tribe. The Gerudo are predominantly female desert-dwelling people, with a distinct culture and physical attributes. The Gerudo society is a matriarchal one, and the women are known for their tall and athletic build with dark skin and flaming red hair that sets them apart from other races in the land of Hyrule. Their unique physical appearance contributes to their reputation as fierce and formidable warriors. Within Gerudo society, power, strength, and survival are highly valued attributes. The Gerudo women are renowned for their exceptional combat skills, resourcefulness, and self-reliance, as they have had to endure the hardships of the desert. But one of the most unique nuances of the Gerudo is that there is only one male born into the tribe once every 100 years, who is crowned king over the Gerudo. In some ways, Ganondorf's upbringing reminds me of the one-child policy in China. Settle down, this isn't getting political. If you are unfamiliar, China instituted a rule in 1980 that each family could only have one child. Due to cultural priorities, families wanted to have males and would sometimes go to great lengths to achieve this result. One of the unintended consequences of this cultural phenomenon were children that some referred to as little emperors. They were called this because they resembled the historical emperors of China who insisted on being the center of attention and held absolute authority within their domains. Like the little emperors, Ganondorf's self-esteem was probably built up as a child by his caretakers. I'm speculating here, but imagine what his upbringing was comprised of. He is one of a kind. His birth signifies the resurgence of a mystical and maybe even divine tradition. What reason does he have to believe that his very existence is not of great import? Not to mention that in the Hylian world, the guy is built like a freight train. He's a torso taller and a full body wider than his contemporaries, and he looks like he could win an arm wrestling match with a bear. Ganondorf clearly didn't peak in high school. Does any of this justify his actions? Obviously not. But in his mind, ruling the world probably makes total sense. Now, if you want to get into the specifics, narcissism is generally characterized by a grandiose self-image, power ambitions, sense of entitlement, disregard for others, lack of empathy and emotional disregard, constant need for admiration and dominance, and a fragile self-esteem and fear of vulnerability. As we delve deeper into Ganondorf's character, it becomes evident that he possesses a range of traits and behaviors consistent with those named above. These shed light on the complex psychological makeup of this iconic villain. First, let's go over grandiose self-image and power ambitions. Ganondorf's goal is simple. His overwhelming desire for power is practically oozing out of every pore. He seeks ultimate control over the land of Hyrule and displays an insatiable thirst for power that goes beyond rational ambition. This thirst is rooted in his grandiose self-image and unwavering belief in his own superiority. When he spots the secret stones that Rauru and company possess, the only thought running through his mind is how he can obtain them, and why not? He deserves them as the preeminent ruler of the world. In his mind, he believes they squander their power, and only he knows how to truly wield it. This is his sense of entitlement and disregard for others. He views himself as exempt from consequences faced by others. From childhood in the Gerudo society, the rare Gerudo males hold a position of privilege and authority, which only reinforces the sense of entitlement that Ganondorf embodies. As the name Demon King suggests, Ganondorf shows little regard for the suffering he inflicts upon others, and demonstrates a complete disregard for their emotions or well-being. The harsh desert environment in which the Gerudo live has necessitated a focus on survival, potentially leading to a diminished capacity for empathy within their society. Much like my third-grade teacher, his actions are solely focused on furthering his own agenda, without consideration for the lives he disrupts or the pain he causes. He feels nothing but joy when striking Sonia in the back, She's only a speed bump in his quest for a secret stone. From the second he obtains the stone, he immediately summons forth an army of minions to wreak havoc throughout Hyrule. These minions are mindless and are incapable of disobeying him. Their loyalty, no matter how absolute, is a far cry from the real thing. Ganondorf needs no advisors. Those who refuse to worship him are forced to submit or die fighting. I would imagine that even if they do submit, he wouldn't give a second thought to keeping them alive. He is fine being king of the ashes. The Ganondorf in Tears of the Kingdom is markedly different from the Ganondorf in Wind Waker. The Wind Waker Ganondorf appears to just be his malevolent self at first, but as the story unfolds, a more nuanced portrayal of Ganondorf's character emerges. In a surprising twist, players learn that Ganondorf is not solely driven by selfish desires, but also carries a profound sadness and longing for a lost world. He reveals his desire to resurrect Hyrule, a once great kingdom that was submerged beneath the Great Sea, in order to create a world where the Gerudo people can thrive. In these moments, Ganondorf's mood takes on a sense of melancholy and nostalgia. He speaks of his people's suffering and his belief that they were unfairly sidelined and forgotten. This portrayal suggests a depth of emotion beyond his initial portrayal as just a power-hungry villain. However, in Tears of the Kingdom, there doesn't seem to be these complex emotions like there is in the Wind Waker. He wants power, and he'll do everything he can to get it. The last attribute is a fragile self-esteem and fear of vulnerability. While he would have us believe otherwise, I believe that beneath Ganondorf's menacing exterior lies a deeply insecure individual. His fragile self-esteem is evidenced by his relentless pursuit of power and control. He fears being seen as weak or vulnerable, which further intensifies his obsession with power. Any challenge to his authority or status is met with extreme aggression and retribution, as he strives to protect his fragile sense of self-worth. The best illustration of this is when he decides to swallow the secret stone. Out of options, but unwilling to admit defeat, he makes a last-ditch attempt to crush his opponent. If he doesn't win, nobody wins. So the next time you're at work, school, or your mother-in-law's house, see if you can see any of these traits in those around you. Remember that just because someone is a bit self-centered, it doesn't necessarily mean that they are a narcissist. We all instinctively look out for ourselves above others. It's part of our survival instincts. However, clearly there are lines that shouldn't be crossed, and we should not allow them to be crossed, or else these individuals will continue to do just as Ganondorf did, and seek to rule our lives. Well everyone, I think that's going to be it for now. If I earned your subscription, please consider subscribing to the channel. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.